Hey, it's Nikki Glazer. If I was at the store and I saw a guy throw down Trojan Ecstasy Ultra Ribbed condoms on the counter, I'd be like, "Hi, I'm Nikki. Do you like me?" Boring condoms are a thing of the past. As a girl who can run a little dry sometimes, even when I'm super horned up, I would appreciate a Trojan Ecstasy Ultra Ribbed condom because they have ultra smooth premium lubricant inside and out for a more natural feel. So I don't have to feel insecure like, "Oh, I'm not wet enough." And they have extra deep ribs at the base and end to increase stimulation. So, he thought of me. And the comfort shape allows free movement for a more natural experience. Feel your best. Get yours on.
To show you how easy it is to file a claim with Geico, we hired a nature show host.
In the native habitat of a suburban driveway, the poor victim of a broken windshield is left assessing his vehicle, utterly helpless.
Well, not true. If he's got Geico, he can file a claim online, over the phone, or with his handy mobile app.
But like a lone gazelle, he'll suddenly be left to fend for himself, awaiting his terrible fate.
Nope. Geico will assign him a designated claims team to help him out too.
So the gazelle gets his car fixed and everything. Wow, nature is so cool.
Geico. Great service without all the drama.
Welcome to Scary Time by Indie Drop-In Network. Each week we feature an episode from the best independent creators. Subscribe for great scary content. If you would like to help Indie Drop-In support indie creators, you can buy us a coffee. Just go to buymeacoffee.com/indie drop-in or click the link in the show notes below. Today's episode is from Little Show of Horrors. Join Laura and Sophie every week for a fright fest as they watch, unpack, and scream their way through some of their favorite and most probably hated horror movies. Don't forget to check out the show notes for links to subscribe and follow on social media. Enjoy the show.
Begin.
Be a little show. Little show.
Little show.
Little show.
Horrors.
Horrors.
Oh, titties already. I love how I'm terrified and you're like, I'm turned on. Ooh. Why have they made such a weirdly sexual villain? Oh, bees! Wait, did he cut off his penis? I'm gonna be
Oh, fuck you!
Motherfucker.
Oh!
I can't wait to see these guys get murdered. What you got there, Helen?
All right, welcome back to another episode of Little Show of Horrors, the podcast where we talk about horror movies and our childhood trauma. I'm Laura Elise, one of your amazing hosts, and I really can't say anything else aside from the fact that at no stage during that film did I know what was happening.
And I am Sophie, and I am buzzing with excitement to talk about this film.
I'm really loving how every time we've done this, I've just gone for my sheer confusion and you've come up with a really lovely pun.
Look, I'm trying my best here, but also I'm confused by the lack of bees in that movie because, I feel like it's always marketed to be about the bees and then they don't appear all that often.
I want to know, and at no stage in the film did they explain this, why is he called Candyman? There was a random scene with candy with knives in it, and then aside from that, we really didn't get anything else. And when they told his backstory in the film, they only referred to him as Candyman. So, is that his name? He was like Candyman Smith.
Is it because he's associated with bees and honey? Sweet, imagine if they called him Honeyman, though.
Ooh. Anyway, a lot of things confuse me. My straight off the bat thought about this movie was I didn't not like it, but I also had no idea what was happening. I still don't understand the plot really. It was just one moment I felt like we were in the lead up to meeting Candyman, and the next second there was a decapitated dog, and I was like, that escalated so quickly.
But it was also such a stunning, confusing ride. It was just produced and shot so well. I don't think I'm still processing but I really did enjoy it, even though there was a lot of like Googling the plot to try and figure out what actually had happened.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought it was really like a very classic 90s horror. But yeah, just no clue.
Was it 90s? Oh, it is 90s. 92. There you go.
Yeah.
I was way off. I thought it was like
It does
80s.
seem very 80s though, doesn't it? It gives you
Yeah, maybe
80s vibes.
late 80s. The early, late 80s vibe, because 90s was just terrible fashion and all of this was fantastic fashion.
Yes. Helen's outfits were
Stunning.
Chef's kiss.
And so was
kiss.
Candyman's though.
That
coat.
Okay, so let's just address the elephant in the room.
Yes, please.
This movie was strangely sexual. I don't understand if that was a choice of the director to make it so weirdly sexual, or maybe it's just me.
I've never seen you like this before, Laura. I've never seen you in such a state.
That deep growly voice just did something to me.
Yeah, the gravel really got you, didn't it?
But I was confused because I was like, he has a weird bloody stump for an arm and he kills babies.
He didn't kill a baby.
He tried to kill a baby. He tried to burn a baby alive.
Only so he could have a family with. That was my interpretation of it. I'm actually going to have to watch this movie a couple of times to understand what happened.
Yeah. So I want to know if he was inspired by Dean Corll, which would be something I would love to look up, because Dean Corll was a real life serial killer who was called Candyman because his family owned a candy factory, and that was part of how he lured young teenage boys in to murder, because he gave them free candy.
That happened in 1970.
Yeah. So I would love to know if that was the correlation with the Candyman name, because I felt like they didn't explain it, which is fine. I can deal with not knowing, but confusion.
That could potentially be a correlation, but so Candyman is based on a novel or a short story by Clive Barker, and he wrote that, I believe, at some point in the 80s. So that could sort of link up. The Forbidden is about like urban myths and legends coming to life.
Right, okay.
So that sort of obviously links up. Yeah, it all sort of links up. But to delve into your interest in the film being so sexual.
Yes.
I think reflecting on it, it just had to do with the fact that he was in love with her. I don't think he was necessarily an erotic killer. I just think he was a little bit taken with her.
Okay. Well, I mean, I would have been fine with him being an erotic killer.
I know.
Something new.
I could tell.
It's something new, something we haven't seen before. So what were your thoughts? Like you said, you liked it, but what
I really
were your...
liked it. I think it's also one of the first times in a really long time that I've gone into a movie not really knowing what was happening or where it was going. A lot of the films, actually no, I didn't really know much about Sinister, but Sinister followed a certain algorithm, I guess. But
yeah, it kind of had that stereotypical horror plot.
Yeah. This, to me, it kind of didn't, because I was expecting her to go on the path of being like more of an investigative journalist and then like demon hunter moment, but she became a victim really quick. And I also really like the her story arc of going from like victim to villain, or heroine to victim to villain. So she really rattled through all of the sort of
really quickly.
Yeah, she rattled through all the character titles.
Because I mean, it's not a long film either. Like it's only an hour and 40 minutes. So in terms of a lot of horror films, it's one of the shorter ones. And it did seem to like try and cram in a lot of stuff.
It did. Yeah, actually, now that you say that, it did sort of but it didn't feel like it crammed a lot in. But when you sort of look at the film as a whole, like her, you know, doing investigative work and interviewing people to killing Trevor was like it feels like it was a far longer journey than just an hour and 40 minutes.
So you liked it?
I loved it, and I also loved the twist, and I don't know if there was so much as like substance to the storyline or the film. Like it was just sort of like, oh, okay, this is happening now. But in terms of filmmaking, I think there was a lot of substance, and I think that's why I liked it so much, because I was sort of taken with everything that was happening on screen. And the jump scares were nothing, and they got me. I don't think in a film that we've watched so far I've jumped so much. I literally screamed at one point.
You did. You jumped a few times. It got me a couple of times as well.
What were your thoughts on it? Aside from confusion?
I mean, that was the main takeaway, was confusion. I did really like it. I did find it difficult to understand. No, not understand, because that makes me sound like I'm stupid. Like I got the premise. I was just very confused by some of the, let's just say, directional choices and writing choices in terms of the pacing of how things went, because it felt like the first part of them like being like, okay, they're investigating and we're learning things about Candyman, and we've gone to the apartment building and found his sort of lair. All that kind of felt like it took up a large portion of the movie, and then it was like bam, and decapitated dog, and bam, she's killed her best friend, and now she's in a hospital and there's a fire and she's dead. And it was like, whoa, that all happened really quickly.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. Like
I would have loved, because I think he's a fantastic villain, and this is why it's got me really excited for the remake.
Oh yes.
Or the prequel or the sequel. I'm not sure if it's a reboot or if it's a sequel.
It's a sequel, it's not a reboot.
Right. So I'm very excited to see if they explore the character of Candyman more, because I thought Candyman seems like a really interesting villain. Like this very multifaceted, like he seems like he's a lover, not a fighter, but he's also a serial killer kind of vibe.
I'm a lover, not a fighter. That's the new tagline.
I guess that was the overarching theme. Like he died for his love of this woman, or he was murdered for his love of this woman. And that seems like such an interesting character, and you just I feel like he gets about 30 seconds of screen time, like,
which is really, with that voice and that dress sense, that's so disappointing, really.
So I did look up, sorry to interrupt, but I did quickly look up, and I found a quote from Bernard Rose, the director, who was saying that he'd always intended for Candyman or Tony Todd to be kind of this romantic figure, but more so in like the Edgar Allan Poe gothic romance vibe, which I get. So he's saying he's a ghost, and he's also the resecution of something that is kind of unspoken or unspeakable in American history, which is slavery. So I guess another reason why I'm kind of disappointed that we didn't get to see more of Candyman, because it does have those really heavy racial undertones throughout the whole film. And I think that would have been really interesting to explore, rather than white woman roaming through building. I'm like, cool, but you could have probably cut 20 minutes of that from the script and we would have survived.
I have a couple of things on that note. I like 2 questions.
Yes.
Having just spoken about the reboot that's coming, which is directed by Jordan Peele?
Yes.
Or produced. Okay, directed. Obviously, he's done some incredible films recently, which is Get Out and Us, which have very obvious social commentary about racism. How do you feel this movie went in terms of sort of tackling the discussion about racism in the States?
I mean, it reeked of like the white savior to me.
Oh, yeah.
Which kind of irritated me. Like it seemed to just very kind of brush over like white woman in that space. And they're just like, oh, okay, cool. Like you do you. I don't know. It felt very like white savior complex to me.
I had a couple of like thoughts on it, and it would be something that I'm really looking for. Like I'm really looking forward to watching the movie again and analyzing it from like with that lens. But a couple of things stood out to me. Obviously, there's a very obvious distinction or contrast in the casting overall. There's a lot of, actors that are people of color, obviously. But I suppose for the time it was what it was. And I know that there was commentary on it. Like from what I've seen, a lot of people have deemed it a racist film. But there are sort of two ways that you can look at it. You have the villain who is an African-American man, but in the grand scheme of horror films, you also don't get African-American or any like person of color in a main role. You also don't have, if we're talking in terms of horror tropes, that classic thing where it's always like the black guy is the one that dies first.
Yeah.
And between Bernadette and Helen, Bernadette was the one who had the most sense, and Helen's just like, oh, I'm fine. I'm just going to crawl into this hole. I'll be fine.
Be sweet.
Whatever. And a lot of that I found really interesting, but it's also something that I want to spend a good amount of time and sort of sit with and become a little bit more educated on and understand the context of that film and the commentary in there.
Because it would definitely play into the wider landscape of the 90s, like early 90s. So it will be very interesting to see the kind of direction that a movie, shot in 2020, covering the same topics, how that and presented by
Jordan Peele,
African-American man, because I'm pretty sure Bernard Rose was a white man.
Oh, well, I would assume that he was. But I think
it would be very interesting to see it presented.
Yeah, I think that would be a really interesting case study, looking between those two films and how that topic is tackled in the 90s versus, in this day and age, especially by someone as prolific and outspoken as Jordan Peele is. So I'm so excited to see what he does with that story and what he can bring out commentary-wise. Like, I'm very, very excited to see that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fantastic movie. I'm very G'd up. Moving on. Should we go on to the rules? Let's talk about the rules.
Would you like to walk our listeners through the rules, Laura?
Yes. So if you're new to the channel, which of course everyone will be because we've just started, each week when we do an episode, we go over the classic sort of horror rules as kind of half penned by, Wes Craven's Scream, and also taken from an article from Time magazine. So rule number 1 is don't ever investigate or say you'll be right back. Rule number 2, turn around because it's always behind you. Rule number 3, never watch a horror movie when you're in one. Rule number 4, make sure your car is always in perfect working order. Number 5, don't ever split up. Number 6, when haunted, just move out of the damn house. Number 7, wear comfortable shoes. 8, avoid proms and all other high school parties. 9, always assume your attacker is still alive. And 10, keep your pants on. Well, I mean, right from the get-go, we had basically an opening scene with titties.
Oh, yes, we did.
So, and they were promptly murdered.
Yes.
Again, weirdly sexual.
I mean, we saw a lot of Helen in this movie.
There were a lot of boobs, which I was not expecting.
And I was not complaining. I mean, okay. She's got a nice rack. Like, she's done well. Come on.
She's done well.
Yeah, she did well.
Like she won them in a competition or something.
Yeah, the genetic lottery.
True. That's, yeah, all right. I'll give you that.
Thank you. Obviously, the biggest rule that was broken in this film was don't investigate.
No, just don't ever
Just
investigate.
fucking don't.
Urban legend, stay away. No, thank you. She was determined.
You know who
attacked
she
and
belongs
came back
with
for
though?
more. Who?
Fucking Ellison.
I knew you were going to
Sinister.
say that. I knew
Whatever
you were going to say that.
They fucking deserve each other. Honestly, just stop.
I do
Poking
think
around.
though,
Both of them visited places that
they
people
should
were
not.
murdered.
Yeah,
Stop it. Don't do that.
just stay away. Just stay away. I will say though, in terms of a traditional horror film, this one really didn't follow many of the classic kind of
Tropes.
yeah,
Norms.
that's what I'm searching for.
Yeah.
So really, they didn't really break many rules because they didn't really.
Fucking Trevor didn't keep his pants on.
Hey guys, it's Anders.
Blake.
And Adam from TV's Workaholics and the podcast This Is Important and the Pleasure Is Ours. We'd like to invite you to treat your friends and loved ones right by gifting them something from Trojan, America's #1 condom brand.
Trojan Bearskin Raw is America's thinnest latex condom, which helps you enjoy a more natural experience to feel it all.
Yeah, the older I get, the less feeling I have in my penis, and I just need the thinnest condom possible.
You have less feeling
Yeah, it's slipping.
because you jerk off with sandpaper?
Yeah, it's just getting numb down there. So hook everyone you know up with some Trojan Bearskin Raw condoms, triple tested and trusted for over 100 years. Release the bear. Get grizzly with it. Bitch better have my honey.
Trojan, feel your best? Get yours on.
Emma, my back is killing me. Can you help?
Yep, been doing some research.
Great, it hurts right here.
You need lumbar support. Safa mattresses have advanced spinal zone technology.
I was hoping for a massage.
Safa is a better solution, Dan. Their mattresses have the chiropractic seal of approval, according to my research.
How about a Safa and a massage?
Get $200 off your purchase of $1,000 or more at safa.com/200.
Trevor couldn't keep it in his pants.
No. I would have liked to have seen Stacey get murdered, though, if I'm being honest.
That's rude. Stacey
doesn't know how to
nothing
cook.
wrong. Stacey's only flaw is murdering steak.
That and trying to get an A by sleeping with her professor.
Yes, well, we've all got to hustle in this world.
So you were going to be like, we've all done that. And I was like,
we've all
oh.
got to hustle.
Yeah, no,
But
in
yeah, I
terms
don't-
of, yeah, there are not many rules broken, so to speak. I mean, the other one that was broken was assuming that your attacker is dead. Although the end scene was a bit ambiguous whether Trevor wanted to die or he was just a little bit.
True, because I guess it played into how much would Helen have told him about the Candyman.
Yeah.
I wonder how they explained that to Trevor. They were like, we don't know what happened. She was in a bonfire. We don't know why.
We don't know how she got there. We don't know where the baby came from.
There was also another corpse, unidentified corpse in the rubble.
No, he came out as bees. I actually, reflecting on that, I don't think that was bee. I don't think they were bees.
Just embers.
They were embers, but I really wanted them to be bees.
That would have been cool. But no, I think they were embers because the little boy saw his like burning corpse.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That little kid had the best stank eye. My Lord, that withering look. I live.
I mean, look, he was a good actor too. Like, if they could get a good child actor, why couldn't they get a better actor for Stacey? That's my question.
Yeah, she wasn't a good crier.
She was laughing. She looked like she was laughing. Also, who paints their walls pink?
I'm not going to lie. I would
No.
love to have a pink wall.
No. You can have a feature wall. I will allow that. But not.
They were just painting multiple feature walls on every wall.
What is it with people in horror films having shit-coloured walls?
It adds to the ambiance of the film. So the ultimate question, Sophie.
Yes.
Do you think you would have survived?
Yeah, because I would not have written my thesis on this. I also wouldn't go into places. This is the same discussion that we've had about Sinister. I wouldn't do it in the first place.
That's very fair. I do love urban legends.
Same,
but
I'm not
wouldn't
going to
have like investigated it to that a degree.
I also love the idea of Ouija boards. Am I going to fuck with one? No.
Yeah, absolutely not.
No, of course not.
Absolutely not. I have enough like bad luck and shit on my everyday without
demons
inviting demons into my life. No, thank you.
I think if I was in that situation, if I actually fucked up to her degree, the only thing I would have done differently would have probably been not buying into the fact, like if I was in the psych ward, I wouldn't have been like, there's a magic man floating above me.
Yeah, she really didn't do a solid job of convincing people that she wasn't crazy.
No,
I think if I was going to really commit, I would have stabbed myself when I realized, no, wait, it makes sense. When I realized that Candyman had come to kill Bernadette, I would have stabbed myself and been like, a man came in, he killed Bernadette, and then he stabbed me, and then he jumped out the window. I don't know. I feel like you'd have a better chance of playing it off than you just come in holding a knife and your friend's been disemboweled.
Yeah, she wasn't a smart woman. But why did he kill Bernadette? Was he just trying to kill off people that Helen loved?
I think you're asking questions that the film didn't at any point explain.
You're like, I had no idea what was going on at all, and I still don't. Why are you asking me?
I mean, and clearly you didn't either, which makes me feel a bit better. No, I really think, and I kind of love that because, look, I can accept and be like, okay, yep, Bernadette's dead. I don't really need a horror film to give me some in-depth explanation. I mean, yes, it's interesting, but I'm like, I came here to watch people get murdered. I'm getting what I paid for. There are people getting murdered. I don't need them to explain the logic of why a dead man with a hook for a hand is choosing to murder certain people.
You know what? I'll accept it.
Some things in this world are just not meant to be known.
So, Laura, would you have survived this film?
Okay, so look, I would love to be like, yes, because I would never, investigate or say Candyman 5 times. But I also did do the Bloody Mary thing in primary school. So
I never
clearly
did that, no.
I am dumb on some level. So maybe not. Maybe this would be the one that would get me because I would say something stupid like say Candyman 5 times in a mirror and get disemboweled.
I don't love that for you.
I don't either, but I'm just being realistic with myself.
Look, we always appreciate honesty.
I'm just being truthful.
I'll accept it. Okay. Well, I wouldn't have done that. I would have stayed well away from that and just dealt with my adulterating husband.
Did they So it has to be in a mirror.
I think so.
Okay,
But why?
because I'm
why
now
a mirror?
very acutely aware of how many times I've said his name in this episode. Like, have I reached my threshold? Am I going to die? If you don't hear from me tomorrow, you know what happened.
Okay. Well, can you stick around? Because I kind of need
just-
you for the podcast.
I'm just not going to say his name again, just to be safe.
Okay. Are we going to give him a new nickname like we did for Basil?
Lolly Man.
Holy man. Oh, God. I mean, yeah, also, there's a simple way around it. Just don't say his fucking name.
Yeah, just don't do it.
Like, get rid of all the mirrors in your house if you really feel the need to say his name 5 times. But, like, just don't say it. I feel like that's super simple unless we're missing something.
Just don't tempt fate. Don't do
Basically. Speaking of fate, who had the worst fate?
Oh, I love that smooth segue. I think Bernadette. Bernie, she was just trying to be a good friend, bring her crazy friend who had potentially murdered a baby flowers.
Yeah, she was doing a good thing there. And then
she got disemboweled. So I definitely think Bernie had the worst fate.
I would agree with that, but I was going to say the dog.
That's also, he did get his head cut off. I forgot about that.
Graphic.
That was really graphic, and I was not prepared at all.
You were prepared for a dead baby, and then there was just a dog head on the ground.
Yeah. And is it weird that I would have been more okay with the dead baby?
I was waiting for that. You were distraught by the fact that the baby almost burnt to death. And I was like, it was already dark. And you're like, yeah, but dead babies, that's a lot. I'm like,
no, dead babies being burnt alive. I feel like that's crossing a threshold.
So is a baby being disemboweled, though.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's something about being burnt alive that terrifies me.
I mean, fair. It's not meant to be pleasant.
Who do you think had the worst fate, Bernie?
Bernie or the dog?
Yeah.
But if we want to keep it strictly to humans, probably Bernie, because she just wanted to write her thesis safely, not fuck around, and poke her nose around in places that it didn't belong. But
no, dumb
fucking
white
Helen.
Who do you think was the worst character?
Trevor.
I knew you were going to say that.
No, I think it was Helen. I think
yeah.
Helen sucked. And then closely followed by Trevor.
I am actually going to say I think the worst character was Helen. Controversial. I think the character who deserved better was Trevor.
No, I disagree.
I think he was okay, so the question of whether he was a faithful husband was a little bit ambiguous.
He wasn't.
It was kind of half implied but never confirmed, so I'm going to say it was ambiguous.
Okay, fine.
He stuck by her after he thought she'd murdered a baby and still, stuck by her when he thought she'd murdered her best friend, and only finally gave up when she'd been in the psych ward talking about men hovering over her bed for a month, and he was like, you know what, I'm out. Which I'm going to say, fair call.
Look, when you put it like that, I have no legs to stand on, but I think he was cheating on her and was too scared to leave her because she made it so good for him. Like in the end scene when he's remembering her and she was cooking food and sort of fretting over him and everything. You don't know a good thing till it's gone.
I would love to know if he was definitively cheating.
I can answer that for you. And the answer is yes.
You cannot.
Where was he? No, Laura, where was he at 3 a.m.?
Didn't he say he was with Bernadette?
He was banging Stacey.
I wonder if Google could give me an answer. Was Trevor banging Stacey? Who do you think deserved better?
Candyman.
Oh, okay. Explain.
His origin story is horrific.
That's fair.
I think, and all like his objective in the end was just to like be reunited with his love and have a little family. I don't agree with his method.
Okay, I'm glad you clarified that.
I don't agree with his method at all. Don't steal babies and don't incite people to kill other people and then murder them to stay with them for eternity. But the heart was there. And the heart wants what the heart wants, Laura.
Oh, someone's had a very interesting spiel.
Oh, we love a good spiel.
Talking about how Trevor liked Stacy because he could control her in the same way that Candyman could control Helen.
That's an interesting insight.
Hmm.
I don't think Trevor's that deep. I think
No,
he's just...
neither do I. And I don't know if the film really intended it to be that deep either, but I do love that.
You do love the theory, but I don't back that because I don't think Trevor's that clever.
Neither do I.
I think he's as shallow as the rest of his gender.
Okay, so who do you think was the character who deserved worse?
Oh, I would say Trevor, but he sort of got his in the end. I think Stacey deserved worse. Although she did end up with Trevor, so that is still
a real sticking point for you. I love that.
Look, I'm like a dog with a bone at this stage. I feel like everybody equally got what they deserved, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, there was quite a few people that died, so yeah, I'd pay that.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody really deserved worse. What about you? Who do you think deserved better?
I think Trevor deserved better.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I explained my reasoning, and the words out of your mouth were that you didn't have a leg to stand on after my explanation. So
just because I don't have a leg to stand on doesn't mean I don't disagree.
Your words, not mine. I think Trevor deserved better. I don't think he deserved to be murdered.
I do.
Maybe he should have been castrated. I would have accepted that as a nice happy medium. I don't think he deserved to die.
Okay, fine, I'll take it because I feel like that might be worse than death.
Maybe if she'd just come and cut his penis off.
I love that.
That would have been okay.
Oh, let's pick it for a rewrite.
And I also feel like that would have maybe done a nice tidy job also of confirming that he had actually cheated. Like that's the representation.
Yes. I'm behind. Okay, I'm 100% with you on this one. I'll accept that answer.
And then Stacy leaves him because he doesn't have a penis anymore.
And he has no substance.
All is right in Sophie's world.
Yep. No, I'm happy with this. That's how the movie ended for me.
All right. I love that. Trevor went on to live a long and happy, albeit penis-free life.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
Glad. I'm really glad.
So who do you think deserved worse then?
I would probably agree that everyone kind of got what they deserved.
Yeah.
Because, Candyman's already dead. Oh, no, I said his name again. Lollyman. Lollyman's already dead, so he can't really have any worse because he's already dead and he doesn't have two hands. And, Helen's dead. Trevor's dead.
Helen's not really dead, though.
She's an entity.
She's still kicking. She's still going. Do you reckon she's the villain in the second one?
I don't know. We'll have to watch it and find out.
I can't wait. I'm very excited.
We'll have to watch it. Well, I think that's kind of the episode, unless you have anything else you want to chat over. You want to continue talking about your hatred for Trevor?
Oh, just every skinny white man on this planet.
He did have a terrible hairline.
And okay, wait, no, I have a thing.
Okay.
Cardigans. Another return of the cardigans. White men with cardigans. Don't do it. Stop it.
And it was another grey cardigan as well.
Ugh.
We'll have to do instead of a kill count, we'll do a cardigan count. How many cardigans per horror film?
I also want to do a count at the end of this episode and see how many times you said Candyman.
We'll do like a little ding.
Ding. I love that. Let's do it.
Okay.
Oh, dear.
I think I definitely said it more than 5 times. I think we both have, to be honest.
Oh, probably. But we haven't said it in the mirror, so that's fine.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you need a mirror.
Does a camera count in the modern day?
Oh, don't. Don't do that to me.
Because you're looking at yourself. Does that, like, it can reflect, technically? It just pops up behind your shoulder?
Don't even. Fuck off. Why would you do that to me? Sitting out here in my lounge room alone.
You've got Tama.
He's in another room. He can't run fast enough.
Yeah. Just start shadowboxing.
Start shadowboxing the ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That'll work. Oh, dear.
Well, I think that just about sums up another week of the Little Show of Horrors. Or
I think
another
that's our
episode.
episode. Yeah.
I'm going to now hope that I don't die.
I'm also going to hope that for you.
Thank you. And if this is the last episode that we ever post, you'll know what happened. We had a good run of, 2 episodes?
Wonderful. Now, Laura, look, it was fun while it lasted.
We had a laugh.
Yeah. We had some scares.
And Lollyman got the final word.
You don't want to say his name, do you?
I really don't. You really freaked. I also don't. I can't bring myself to look.
I've just noticed that you're like statically staring in front.
I can't bring myself to look in the camera.
I'm going to have to message Tama and be like, can you escort Laura to the bedroom again? You just make sure that she's okay.
Oh, dear. Well, on that note, thanks for joining us for another episode. If you would like to follow us on social media, all our links will be in the show notes, as well as if we'll leave a link to the rules, and if we have any other interesting articles we come across that we think you would like to look at, we'll pop those in the show notes as well.
Yeah.
And
thank you so much.
We'll see you next episode.
Hopefully, as long as we don't get disembowel, that would be nice. But
please pray for me.
Look, if that's the way I go, that's fine, as long as I get to see some bees, because I do like bees.
Okay.
I mean, I don't like the idea of being sliced open, but okay.
No, I don't like that at all.
Well,
all right.
Thank you, and good night.
The next episode. Bye.
Yeah, bye. I'm intrigued.
Maybe Helen is evil. Maybe we hate Helen.
Oh, he's having a little snooze.
This just went from 0 to 500 really fast.
Trevor? Oh, this is going
sexy.
Is she having an orgasm? Why is she so, horny for this man?
Check out all of Indie Drop-In shows at indiedropin.com. If you would like your show featured, reach out to us at Indie Drop-In on all social media or go to indiedropin.com.
Becoming a magician takes thousands of hours, right, Ashley?
Oh, I'm not a magician. I'm a design specialist at the Container Store.
But you transform closets and pantries.
Well, I turn your most frustrating spaces into ones you love.
With a magic wand?
With Alpha, our customizable, adjustable, and affordable shelving and drawer system.
The amazing Ashley! Making daily frustration disappear.
Just doing my job.
Transform your space with Alpha and save 20% on purchases over $500. Get started with your free design at the Container Store today.
Dan, Saatva is the best mattress choice for us. After all, how could you go wrong with their risk-free 180-day in-home trial and 15-year warranty?
That does sound risk-free. Takes me back to some of our risk-free vacations.
You mean that rafting excursion you claimed to be risk-free but ended in a 4-story waterfall? Or the African safari that ended with a flat tire by the lion's den? Or the...
You know what? Let's just order our Saatva.
Get $200 off your purchase of $1,000 or more at saatva.com/200.